Nobody wants to admit that you're traumatized. No one wants to admit that you're in a bad place.
The mind body spirit connection is so real. It's that curiosity leading into, oh, what burdens could I be carrying? Our shoulders are all about carrying burdens. Our arms about holding on to things we need to be letting go of. Our legs are about not being able to move forward from something emotionally.
Welcome back to the Spiritual Awakening Podcast with Shaz. I'm your host, Shaz Sini. Today, I'm joined by the beautiful Rachel Farnsworth. Rachel is an award-winning clinical hypnotherapist, speaker, and author who is passionate about helping women over 40 release emotional patterns at the root of their symptoms to reconnect to themselves. Combining professional training with years of experience working with hundreds of clients, she helps people uncover the stories, conclusions, and protective patterns that have shaped their lives. Her philosophy is simple. Healing isn't about fixing yourself, it's about laying down what you were never meant to carry so you can reconnect to who you've always been. And I love that simply because I'm always telling people you just have to remember who you always are. Her book, Decoding the Body's Messages, centers around understanding the hidden messages behind the physical symptoms, and her method appears to use the subconscious mind to uncover and release personal root causes. It's so great to join you, Rachel. Thank you for coming along. For
Thank
anyone
you for
meeting you
inviting
for
me. It's
the
a pleasure.
pleasure. For anyone meeting you for the first time, tell us who you are and what brought you about writing this glorious book, because it aligns so much with me. I have a number of books like this, and I'm so excited to get a copy of yours. It's on order, it hasn't arrived yet. But how did you end up coming down this avenue?
A long process, really. It wasn't something I sort of woke up one morning and deciding I needed to write a book. It was like your introduction said, it was working with clients a lot over the years. It all began, I sort of stumbled into hypnotherapy by accident as well, just because it interested me by working with the subconscious mind. And then I had a session with my daughter shortly after I qualified, just as a practice session. She was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, which was arthritis, when she was a year old. And we, in that one session, in a practice session, and I didn't know what I was doing, but really, she was able to release it, and she's been pain free, symptom free, medication free ever since. So that was my big why behind, oh, if I can do that, what else is possible? So I've had that sort of drive behind it. And then working with clients, so I've understood that we're not meant to live with pain and symptoms like we've been told. What really happens is that the body is communicating with us. And that's a beautiful thing, because the mind body spirit connection is so real. So all our symptoms are teaching us, telling us, waving the flag at us, saying you're out of alignment with your real self, because we've been conditioned to believe we're not enough, we're too much, we're not enough, we're too emotional, we're this, we're that, and we've tried to fit in. And so by trying to fit in, we're out of alignment with our true self, which is self-love. And
Yeah.
so really it's the body sort of pushing you, indicating you, encouraging you to come back to that love. And self-love is the real medicine. So it's all those conditioned beliefs of I'm not enough, and that really they feel like the truth, don't they?
Sure
There's
do.
like, oh, I'm not enough, I need to be more, I need to be less, I need to sort of conform somehow, and we sort of push ourselves out of shape. And that's what our body's telling us. And in the book, I talk about how, the right side of the body is the right here, right now moments that we're not processing, or there's some emotional pain. On the left side of our bodies, it's something in the past. And then where the symptoms are in our bodies gives that deeper message. For example, our shoulders are all about carrying burdens. Our arms about holding on to things we need to be letting go of. Our legs are about not being able to move forward from something emotionally. So that's just a very, very basic thing, but my book goes into it more detail. There's an A to Z section, and then there's the unlocking part, the unlock the wisdom to heal, gives real tips and techniques you can put into practice straight away, with meditations, guided meditations that you can download. There's a video to watch, there's a journal, there's all sorts of things. And there's even a Ho'oponopono prayer where I've sort of enhanced that as well. So because it's all just It's as complicated as we've been told. It is just coming home to yourself, which is self-love, and it's just that's I've got a diamond on my desk that I always have, because that is that who we are. That's that soul essence of us. It's just sparkly. It's just made of love. But the trauma just dampens all that down and makes
Yeah.
us believe we're just this human in a body that's just broken, and that is so not the truth.
Yeah, it's one of my core messages to people in the world. You're not broken. You just have to remember the power that lies inside you. I love the
Mm,
take that you have on it and the way you expressed it, because it's not something I'd fully heard of before until our previous conversation. And I've been doing this type of work myself for a long time, and I've been helping people understand it. But the right side of the body being the right here, right now, the present, the aspect. And as I'm talking about
mm,
this with you, I get full body tingles, and that to me is universal truth. This is the universe agreeing with everything that you're saying.
truth.
So the right side being right now. So where the pain sits or what side the ache is coming
Yeah.
from is the present. And then the left side being historical, being the past, being yesterday or before. That's just a great way to fully understand it. Normally, we refer to right side as masculine and the left side as the feminine, but adding the complexity of both opens up a whole new avenue as to just those little
Mm,
niggles like, oh my God, my right shoulder's hurting. Like, why is my right side a bit numb? Because in the
mm.
present, you having
What
emotional
burdens am I
problems
carrying?
associated with that. And for me, both sides of the body have different, slightly different messages, but they also do become rooted in the same details and the same emotions and the same problems.
Yes, that's right, absolutely. And just understanding it, instead of saying, "Oh, I've got shoulder pain, I need to take something for it." It's like you've got a different question. It's that curiosity leading into, "Oh, what burdens could I be carrying?" Oh yeah, it's my neighbour, I'm doing too much for him, or somebody at work, oh yes, I'm absorbing all their trauma that they're going through right now. And it's just that when you understand that, you're like, oh, I can put that down. I don't need to, I can help them, but I don't need to wear
Yeah.
their emotions.
Mhm.
It's such a different conversation you can have with yourself. And curiosity is what leads my sessions all the time. I never go in with oh, I know what this is.
Yeah.
You've got an idea because of what people have been talking about in the preamble of the conversations.
Yeah.
But it's just clearing all that out of the way and let's just go back to the time, place, event that's all to do with the issue you want to work with, and just be there. And then you just got like a little daydream. Oh, I don't know why I'm here. I'm at school or whatever it is. And it's
Hmm.
just being curious. Okay, but it's not what happened to you. It's the emotions that you attach to it. Yes, how old are you? Where are you? What's going on? How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the thing. And what conclusions as well. So what does that make you feel? Oh, I feel like I'm not enough. Oh,
Hmm.
brilliant. And then we can go back, and so we sort of piece it all together, and then we go back into well, that's no longer you, because you're not 5, you're not at school, you're not dependent, you don't live with these people. You can drive a car. If that happens again, you just go, no, bye, see you later, I'm going, get the car keys, off you go. And
Yeah.
so it's so empowering, isn't it, when you reframe it? But
Amazing.
the thing is, the subconscious mind does not understand past, present, future. It only understands the ever present now moment. So it doesn't understand that what happened then is probably never likely to happen again. Or if it
Yeah.
does, you can respond differently to it. So that's the power.
I love that. And it's how we truly shift through what's going on with people. Our subconscious
Mm,
mind runs us and it codes us and it makes up stories and conclusions based on a mindset or a mind understanding of a certain age. And even though you grow up, if you don't go back and rewrite it, reframe it, and tell it to catch up to where you are now, it just keeps playing in the program in the mind. Causes restriction, causes
mm,
pain, causes triggers, causes harm and trauma. And for me, I tell people the trigger is the greatest gift. Like everyone goes, oh my God, I hate that. They're triggering me or they're gaslighting me. They're doing this to me. Nobody can do anything to you. You can't be affected by something that you're not ready to heal. So that trigger is a gift because it's showing you where you're ready to up level, upgrade, and empower yourself to move forward from what used to control you. And because it no longer does.
that's right. And the trigger is, there's got to be a wound in you in order for it to trigger you. Because if
Yep.
it wasn't there, it would just be just like
What
looking
for stuck?
looking at
Ducks back.
water. It's just
Yeah.
nothing. So it's just like, yeah, what is it? It's a gift. It's like, oh, why is that triggering
Yep.
me? What is going on? And, I was a people pleaser for so long. So I was trying to overgive and make sure everybody else was okay, and all that sort of thing. So my last toxic relationship, which was my second marriage, was such a gift,
Yeah.
even though it was probably one of the worst things that happened at the time. But I knew that I didn't trust myself to date again after that
Yeah.
marriage. It was just like, and I don't want to be a catwoman for life.
Mm.
So what do I do? Oh dear, looks like I've got to face myself. And so it was really looking at, well, why do I keep falling for toxic relationships? What is going on? And it was it wasn't the worst thing that's ever happened to me, but one of the scenes that came up in my session was that my sister, she's 4 years younger than me, I was in the kitchen sitting on the floor playing with my saucepans, I think, and just stirring, just normal playtime. And she came toddling over and she started pulling my hair. And she pulled it so hard it made me cry. And of course, she's a toddler, so you can't let go, can you, as a toddler? You just keep going, pull, pull, pull. So she was pulling my hair. Obviously, that's not her fault. But my mum said, "Oh, she's only doing it because she loves you." So what does my subconscious mind believe?
Pain
All it
equals
can
love.
believe. I don't know what love is because I'm just like four, but this thing called love is painful. So what do? I go and find painful relationships because I believe that's what love is. And it's just, so that's how we come to these conclusions. It's not, we don't sit there going, oh, what does that mean? It just
Yeah.
sort of lands in
Lands in there.
us
Mm-hmm.
as a sneaky sort of belief that you don't even know has come into you. It's sort of just dropped down, and it's just so you don't know what you don't know. But doing that inner work, it's like, oh, wow, who knew? I mean, there was more to it than that. There was far more trauma than that, but that was one of the scenes that I went back to. So it's just seeing that, just simple everyday stuff can be a trauma just because that belief sunk into your subconscious without any conscious awareness whatsoever.
Yeah, and that's the thing is when we get hurt in our childhood, right? When we're children and something happens to us, we make decisions and conclusions based on the information we have at the time. So our mind is uninformed. It doesn't have all the data playing. It doesn't have the full perception of it. It has our version of what we received. And then we make like conclusions and we continue to think those conclusions over and over until it becomes the program. And that's the encoding of the subconscious mind. But you can change that.
Beautifully
And
put. Beautifully
people
put.
don't realize the dumbest, simplest silly things cause great harm simply because you won't go back and review it. Now, going back to review it, forgiving yourself and letting it pass through the body instead of staying, because we hold on to it. We create a little pocket in our body and it stays in the body, it clenches in there and it stays there till we release it. Those minor changes can change your whole world. And this is part of the reason why I got into healing as well. And I love seeing other practitioners with the same beliefs, with the same understanding of it, because we don't need to run those patterns anymore. And I want people to be free. Love is not pain. And it can be that simple. Like I was just doing some healing recently, and one of the things that I went and remembered was that I was naughty because I couldn't have a lolly at the shop, literally because they had no money. So I took it on that I must be a naughty girl because I wasn't rewarded. I was 2 or 3. It wasn't the truth. The truth was there was literally no spare change for the lolly. I couldn't have it at the time. And then because I got upset, I got into trouble from it. And you create stories and conclusions from a mind that's in turmoil, but without all the information. And when you go gather all the information, you go, oh my God, I was being silly. You can get over it, release it. And the joy that you get from recognizing that and the forgiveness to self and others that accidentally created it for you because they didn't realize the conclusions that you made. Now, most people wouldn't make those same conclusions. You never know what your mind has done to you until you get triggered by something. And that's why I consider the trigger the greatest gift because it only rises to the surface when you're ready.
So beautiful, isn't it? And you're absolutely right. It's just those conditions. You have to make sense of the outside world. You didn't get that lolly. What could that mean? You hadn't got the concept of money or anything like that at the time. So the only conclusion you could come to it is, I don't deserve it.
Yeah.
That's the only conclusion you could come to. not, there's not money, or it's their
Hmm.
fault, or they're just being awkward, or you have to make it about you because
Yeah.
that's all you know. Absolutely. And it's all those things. I mean, yes, there are worse things that happen to you, obviously, because that's life, but it is those sort of, just that is a trauma. It doesn't have to be being held at knife point type of trauma. It's just
No.
not being given a lollipop, and there you go. It's
Yeah.
just, and it's so, that's how, childhood trauma is a thing, because it's just that time you didn't get a lolly, or that time that you
Yeah.
didn't get a hug when you needed it, or that time that your parent didn't say, that was the teacher's fault, not yours, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or a friend that's didn't treat you right. It's just all of that. Whenever your needs weren't met, we had to make a story about it,
Got it.
and the only
Yep.
thing we could make it is to blame ourselves.
Hmm.
And then we don't like that part, so
No.
like you said, we push that bit
And put
down,
that down.
and then that stays in the pocket, as you
Yeah.
call it. And I love that. Yeah, yeah, it's so true.
And like even parents today, you don't realize you can accidentally be causing harm. You can think that you've had a great relationship with your family and everything like that. But the moment you say no to someone and the moment that a need or a desire is unmet, unintentionally and unfortunately, a conclusion and a decision is made. And it's made from the 2 year old, the 3 year old, the 4 year old, however young the child is. So if you're going out and you say no, don't blanket no. No, be kind and be gentle and explain the reasoning behind it, and especially to children because they don't have natural logic and reasoning. They don't see the bigger picture. But if they can't have something, explain why. No, we can't have that at the moment because this circumstance and that circumstance. It's not about you. It can come later. We may have to wait for it. We may have to put it aside. But the blanket no actually can cause great harm. The same as saying yes to something that you're not going to follow through. One of my core mottos is I never say yes unless I know I'm going to be there. And if I'm not going to be there telling you something died, there's been an accident or a major diversion. I don't say yes, I'll come. If I make a promise to come, I turn up. I can say no if I know I can't make it and I've got conflicts, whatever they may be. Some people can't take that. So I have a motto that I tell people maybe. If I say maybe I'm coming to something, I ain't never coming. It's just a conclusion. If I want to do something, I say yes. And it's a core commitment that I make. And shortness of being ill, sick, hospital,
Yeah,
dying, or major
circumstances beyond your
accident, I
control. Yeah,
will
be
make
there.
that
Yeah,
commitment and be there because that's the
yeah.
promise that I make to self.
It's that inner commitment as well, isn't it? It's that true north of your
Yep.
compass. It's being transparent and honest with yourself and with others. I think that's brilliant.
Now, you mentioned a little bit about your daughter's journey. Was that the major moment where your life started to shift, or was there another area in your life that caused you to step into this pathway?
Well, to start with, it was my second marriage becoming too very toxic. And rather than focusing on that, I decided I wanted to help other people. So I was going to train to be a counsellor, which never actually happened. But it was good because it gave me a course. I found a course locally that was in person, and it was counselling for years 2 and 3, but you had to do hypnotherapy for the first year. Really not interested in that at all. I thought, well, I'll just sleepwalk through that and do years 2 and 3. It's the best course I can find. I'm just going to have to lump it. Isn't it funny how the universe works? Because what
Yeah.
actually happened was I was really, started getting into hypnotherapy. And then, of course, I've got some homework to do. So I'm Googling hypnotherapy. And I found another trainer that was training somebody in advanced hypnotherapy. And she'd been doing it for about 3 years. And I was like, oh, that price is just going to go up because the more successful she gets, the more that's going to be more expensive. I can afford it right now. Maybe I ought to do it. And then I had that looping thought, I've got to do this, but when? I've got to do this, but when? I'm just like, oh, just shut up. I'll do it sometime. No, you've got to do this, but when? And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do it.
Now,
And I can now see that that was my soul just
yeah,
saying, come on,
get moving.
this is the time. Will you just get your butt in gear? But I didn't know that at the time. So it's very interesting looking back, because again, I've got no game plan with this. It's just I'm just training in hypnotherapy because it's interesting. You can make your
Yep.
subconscious mind work for you instead of against you, really. Oh, that's curious. And so it was that curiosity that led me into it. So I then decided, I qualified in June 2018, and my daughter had been diagnosed with that autoimmune disease when she was a year old. So she'd had it for 14 years, and we were doing all the medication stuff, which was just leading to more symptoms medically. But anyway, so we decided to have a session together in October 2018 because she'd been drug induced remission for 2 years in that time. And the doctors were excited because being 14, they said, oh, she's going through puberty. She may have outgrown this disease, but we won't know unless she comes off the drugs. Let's see how she goes. So we had 8 weeks of normal weekends. Instead of self-injecting with the drugs, she'd actually go out. We were going out. We were having fun. Like,
Mhm.
wow, this is unusual. So we had 8 weeks of normal. And then she got a painful knee. Left knee was starting to swell again, and the doctor's going, oh, you're going to have to go back on the drugs. Oh, don't be surprised if it's not more powerful, meaning more side effects. And Emily and I remember being in the doctor's room, and Emily just burst into tears. She said, Mum, I can't do it. And I started crying. I said, no, I can't watch you, sweetheart. So then I started thinking, well, what do I do? What do I do? So I thought, well, I have trained in this thing, this hypnotherapy thing, and I know other people have got amazing results with emotional and physical issues. I'm not them. That was the biggest thing. I'm not
Yeah.
story. I'm not them. I'm not enough, right? But one of the ladies that already trained with me said, but okay, we're told in the training, usually between 1 to 3 sessions is enough
Yeah. Yeah.
to release something. And but that was a stumbling block, Shaz, because I'm thinking, but what if I don't do it in 3? What if I don't? I might as well not try, right? That,
Some
that was
people
the,
can
the
take more.
stumbling thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I decided that one of the girls that I trained in said, well, if you do one session a week, Rachel, it takes 52 sessions. Isn't it worth it? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I can do 52. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, so the stories, again, you see the
Yeah.
stories that we tell ourselves. It's really good when you start unpicking it. But so we just decided to have a session. She was a bit meh about it. She's 14. She's
Yeah.
not really expecting anything. I'm not really expecting anything either. It was very much hypnotherapy by numbers because I'd only just qualified and I hadn't done anything at all with it. So it's just step 1, relax the client. Yep, you look relaxed. Step 2, let's go back to, oh, we're getting scenes. Oh, this is exciting. But it was the other part that I've not told you that I do as well. It's finding the reason, aim, plan, and goal behind these things,
Mm.
because it's like getting into the subconscious program. What's the goal? I call it my GRAP method.
Yeah.
G is the goal, reason, R is the reason, A is the aim, P is the plan. So
Hmm.
we just find it, and it's just a bit like Chinese whispers. You start the sentence, the reason I'm here is to, and then you just put the ending to it. So it's usually to protect you. I need to protect you by or because.
Yep.
And how old does it feel you are? What was going on then? Oh, okay, well, what's coming to mind? Okay, so we're getting more scenes, and we're just really unpicking it to see what it's all about. Because again, it's just like that sneaky little love is painful thing that happened to me. It's just your subconscious mind is trying to protect you.
Yep.
Why? Well, for Emily, and she's quite happy for me to share this, is that in her session, it was that I need pain to be like everybody else. That was her belief.
Yep.
Why? Well, because her brother had got asthma. She's 4 years younger than her brother, so he'd got asthma. I'd had my thyroid removed, which is about communication, and I was in toxic relationships, right?
Yep.
So
Hmm.
I couldn't speak up. So I'd had my thyroid removed before I knew about this mind, body, spirit thing and the real connection. So I'd had that removed. She'd seen staples in my neck as I was healing it
Yep.
from the operation. Her cousin, who's 4 years older as well, had cancer, and her other cousin had had a hernia removed when she was a baby, and she'd had her tonsils removed as well. So in her world, everybody had got pain,
Yep.
but everybody else was better except her. 14 years later, right? So I was
Yep.
like, so that's how it was easy to release it in one session, because she could
Hmm.
just see that, oh, that belief
They've
is just blown out of the
blown out them.
water.
Doesn't have to be true anymore.
Completely don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's quite ironic. It reminds me of a story of my own journey. When I was 23, I was about 22, 23. Could have even been 20, 21 or so. It was early 20s. I lost the use of my left arm for 6 months. Like literally, I could not lower my arm. It was painful and I couldn't do anything with it. Went for tests and all sorts of things. I finally went and found a rheumatologist, and he told me that they did blood work and there were markers, and he tried to tell me that I had rheumatism. And I'm going, no, I don't want like rheumatoid arthritis or whatever. I don't want that. So I thought it was something about arthritis because that was the only way I'd heard it at the time. And I've gone, no, I don't want that. And he goes, it's, he explained it to me. And the more he explained it to me, the more I'm adamant. And I was actually with my mother at the time. She was with me in the having the test because we couldn't work out what was going on. And I'm like, no, not having it. No, find me another solution. Get me another referral. Send me to another doctor. So he sent me to a neurologist, and I went to Blacktown Hospital to go see this neurologist. And he come back and said the only way that they went through, did more tests, and there was some problem. And he goes, the only way I can do it is I want to do an operation on your pituitary gland. And I go, no, you're not operating on my brain. No, not doing this. And I went back to my GP, and they told me that I had this disease, and she tried to prescribe me some tablets, told me that pretty much you're going to have to take these for the rest of your life, and this is something that's never going away. And I've gone, not having it. Don't even write the script. I won't fill it. I do not want it. And I commanded myself, I don't want it. About 3 to 6 weeks later, I started getting the use of my arm back. All the pain disappeared. And at the time, apparently I had markers for it. I've had blood tests since. I've never really asked them to test it. Don't know that it's there. Never been advised about it. And I've never taken a drug for it because I decided in that moment, no, I don't want that. And that's as simple to me as how it can be. We accept decisions by other people. We accept diagnoses and labels from other people. And I've been told that I have CPTSD, and I told the doctor I don't want that either. I'm sure there's a way you can get rid of it. I don't want it. I'm clinically diagnosed with it, but it's not something I choose to associate with. I don't want to be labeled or boxed in. And therefore, I started healing and changing my thought patterns. And the thought pattern was that I will have the use of my arm, same sort of thing. Come around the same time, a lot of my massive sort of injuries and problems started in that early 20s, which was when I was waking up to the fact that I had a traumatic childhood because I was in denial about it and I didn't realize this. The other thing that I had is I think I tore my ACL, or I don't know, one of the things in my knee, and I couldn't straighten my knee for like 6 or 8 weeks at either. So it was bent at 60 degrees. And the doctor wanted to do a knee reconstruction. I got, no, I don't want that either. And he said, if you come back to me in 2 weeks and you don't have, I'm scheduling this surgery, you can come back to me on the Friday before the Monday. If your leg is not straight and you can't walk on it, you're going in to have this surgery. And I go, no, I'm not. Come back 2 weeks later, my leg's straight. And he goes, you'll be back. You'll need this knee reconstruction. Those things don't repair. They don't repair. They don't disappear. I'm like, no, I won't be. Ran into him years later and he said to me, I'm so surprised you've never been back to my surgery. How's the knee? I'm going, it's fine. I have no problem with it. He goes, how did you just decide that you don't want it? And I do believe with every core of my being that the body has this amazing capacity to heal itself. And 95% of it is the mind. The other parts is you have to put exercise into it, determination, and you have to take action for it. And when you do, you can change anything.
It's emotion because it's like you said, just by deciding that that's not your reality is such a powerful thing. It really is. And yes, we are far more able to heal ourselves, way more than we've been conditioned to believe. And we've told it, our bodies are broken. They're not. When you look at it as a communication,
Yep.
it's a different story, isn't it? It's just, oh, what is it communicating? Why is it communicating? What went on way back when?
Yep.
That's the opening questions, and then you get curious and go, oh, I wonder if it's that. Well, that's not me. You can do it yourself.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation just with my son yesterday because he's going down the labeling thing, and he said, I haven't asked you to sign my forms, Mum, because I know you won't agree with it. I said, absolutely, I don't agree with it. Because labels limit you.
They do.
Why
They're a
would you
box.
label yourself with that?
Yeah.
yeah, why? And he said, well, he's having counselling around it and whatever. And I said, okay, well, that's good because you're opening up to looking at why you've got stuff. That's good.
Yeah.
I'd much rather you did it
That way.
holistically, but do what you need to do. But I'm not for labels at all because it just goes, I've got this and therefore I can't.
Yeah.
You put you in that glass box, doesn't it? That you can't, you sort of how you see yourself rather
Yeah.
than it's trauma. I told him that. I said, I'm sorry. You lived through my second marriage. Of course you got.
Yeah.
It's no
Mhm.
surprise, darling. And I'm sorry. I was unhealed then. I hadn't
Yeah.
done any work on myself. I'm so sorry. And I am. And I said, we can work it through. We can talk about it if you want. I'm quite open to that. I know, it wasn't I didn't give you the best. I gave you the best I could at the time, but I could see with transparency really how it all came
Yeah.
to, why you are the way you are. And it's not your fault.
And I love the fact that you take personal responsibility for that. You see how you've contributed to it and you're wanting to help him in that way. One of the great parts
Mm,
about when I studied hypnosis myself and NLP and the coaching sort of aspect of the training that I went through, the coach turned around and said, one of the things we don't realize is we chose and made a decision to experience this. And as your daughter did, I chose to have this pain because I felt I didn't fit in without it. And then she never unchose it. So she continued to keep it until she didn't because she changed the way she thought about it. And so many of
mm-hmm,
us, I have clients and I get full body tingles when I talk about this because of the truth aspect to it. And I have clients and women that reach out and they don't like it when you confront them and ask them, well, why are you choosing to stay here? Why are you choosing sufferance? We do, we choose it. And it took me a big wake up call of self and a big personal insight look to be totally brutally honest and to really ask myself, well, why was I choosing this? Because the moment I said no, it disappeared. I
mm-hmm,
had proof of it. I didn't understand it at the time. It took me the best part of 25 years to understand the power behind that decision. I had no idea. I turned around, no, I'm
mm-hmm,
not, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be sick. I'm not having an autoimmune. No, not happening. And in
mm-hmm.
it, the mind does have this immense power, and so does the body. It can heal itself, it can change itself, but you have to do the work. You have to allow it to pass through, and then you have to make better choices and decisions. That's what the reframe is.
Absolutely, it is. And you said something really powerful then, and I sort of just disappeared. But yeah, I think it was from when you were saying about your pain and why we stay in choosing suffering. That was what I was going to say. So it's because it's our familiar, and
Yeah.
our subconscious minds love familiar. So they'd rather keep you in familiar hell than unfamiliar
Yeah.
heaven. So it's that box again. It's
It's like, what the
that
hell?
glass box that we're in that we don't know we're in, and it
Yep.
feels transparent. You can see it all around it, so you don't know that you're in this little box that you've put yourself in, and it's just that comfort zone.
Yep.
But when you can see, well, no, actually, I'm not choosing this toxic relationship anymore, and I'm not choosing any more toxic relationships, and if I get into them, I'll move on. And I
Mhm.
can see it, and I don't have to choose this. I can choose something different. This is not for me anymore. I've learned this
Yep.
lesson. I've learned the patterns. So yeah, it's the subconscious mind would much rather keep you in that familiar. And that's why we keep finding toxic relationships or finding
Yeah.
the same old stories in different people,
Because
because
we
our
create,
subconscious minds are,
yeah,
yeah,
we create safety and normalcy out of problems because if we
yeah,
don't, we think we're going to die. And that's
mm,
the aspect of where fear doesn't kick in the right way that it's meant to, is we make things normal as coping mechanisms because otherwise nobody wants to admit that you're traumatized. No one wants to admit that you're in a bad place. We don't want to own that there's a problem there, that it is toxic. We don't want to do that until it becomes the phase that we don't want to put up with it anymore. So we normalize it,
mm,
we dumb it down, we make it safe. And the body is always looking for safety and security.
mm-hmm. Plus, it's the nervous system as well. If you're stuck in survival mode, you're just going to keep finding things that keep you
Keep
in
it
that
there now.
survival mode. And that was my pattern. I didn't even realize that that's what I was in because it felt normal. And for an example of that is I used to have a lot of to-do lists. You know, I need to be busy and I need to keep going. And I only felt successful if I crossed at least five off a day. And, and that is what I thought was me
Yeah.
until I heal. And I'm quite happy just to be now. I don't have to, I'm not a human doing anymore, a human being, who knew? And it's my breathing changed.
Yeah.
Instead of breathing from here, it started to go right down almost to my hips, which is
Yeah.
quite surprising, when you've been used to just breathing here and that
Deep
feels
throat.
so normal because that's all you've ever known.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, it's just like it is. It's like your
And the
body's
tension
just
that
sort of
lets go. It's
relaxed.
like, what?
What?
Mm.
Yeah, the tension went, and it's like, wow, that's incredible. So you think it's your personality, but it's a survival mechanism. It's a different, it's a bit discombobulating when you realize that, but it's exciting at the same time.
And it's the purpose of the unconscious mind and the subconscious is to keep us alive. And it thinks
Absolutely.
that familiarity is safe because the unknown and the unseen and the like, it could be heavenly, but because we don't know what that is, there's a safety issue associated with it. So we stays blocked down and you can't move until you're ready. And this is why I never force my opinions down anyone's throat or I will guide them, I will help them, but until they're ready, you can't help anyone. You can't like your son, he wants to go that avenue. You have to let him. He'll eventually come back
Mm,
around, hopefully, to this avenue, whatever works. You can plant the seed, you can nudge it forward, but you have to
mm.
leave their sovereignty and free will to themselves to
Yes,
choose what works
absolutely.
for
And that
them.
I'm so conscious of that, but also, and he's actually, I've written about him in my book, in the introduction or in the first part of it, because George was very spiritual as a baby. He remembered his past life, or at least a
Oh,
couple,
wow.
he remembered at least one, and he used to cry for his other mother. He said, "Not you, mummy, I want my
Yeah,
other
mother,
mother," and he
mom.
used to say that. And we didn't
Wow.
say mother as a child,
Yeah.
growing
Yeah.
up. That wasn't a language that we used in the family. So no, he said, "I want my other mother, not you, mummy." And he sobbed for her. And I like, if I knew where she was,
I'd
I'd
find
take
out.
you, I would take you. But now I'm the one who does the woo-woo stuff, and he's completely sort of blocked that off. And I think that's also part of his. I mean, I want to give him that shortcut and just go, let me give me a hypnotherapy
Yeah.
session, and I'm fine, but he's not ready, and that's fine. I'm not for obviously you can't force that on him,
You can't.
but
No.
it's yes, it's watching him, letting him have that freedom to find where he needs to go, and just being there. Really, that's all I can do.
And I know from personal experience when you're not ready for it and you're not in a position or your soul's not ready for it. I tried hypnotherapy back in my early 20s when I was going through all this stuff and I've got to go have like a past life regression or find out what's going on because something was out of whack. If I had mystery diseases, weird things going on in my body, I had all sorts of stuff going on in the 20s. But the very first time I tried hypnotherapy, I had an abreaction. My body went into shock. I had a meltdown. The dude was very capable. He was very calm and helped me come back to my body. I hyperventilated. Got to the stage he was going to call an ambulance because my body it nearly went into toxic shock because I was not ready. There were too many fears underlying. There was too much hidden underneath. And you can't force it on someone. They have to make the choice. If
They
you
have to
do
be
it to
ready,
someone
absolutely.
who is not ready and available for it, they can have problems in their soul. You can break them and cause trauma. And my motto in life is do no harm. You have to want
Absolutely.
to come and do this. You have
Yes,
to want
yes.
to face it. And until you're ready, it will never happen.
That's right. It's a dance, isn't it, between the client and you they have to be ready for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I always let people come to me. I never chase people and say, you need a session, then I can
Yeah.
help you. It's just you've got to want it. Same thing, it's and also there's that myth about hypnotherapy, isn't it, that you can make somebody, put
Ah,
somebody
pluck, pluck
under a
it. Yeah.
spell or something, which is absolutely not true. It's just it's a natural state of relaxation. It's just allowing your mind to be open to sort of daydream state. That's all it is. And then it's just being curious around where the beliefs became. And it's a little, I love it because it's very empowering, because it's once we do the little detective work, which takes about half an hour, three-quarters of an hour, the
Yeah.
rest of the session is about empowering
Oh,
you
yeah.
to see the truth about that scene and how amazing you are. I had one lady that was held by knife point, and she got PTSD, not surprisingly. And it was one of the first sessions I had, going back, it's almost 6 years ago. And or 6 or 7, and she said, she was held at knife point, and she was there saying, "Oh, but this might happen again," and oh, but, and I was, we were doing the reframe, and she was finding it really difficult to see herself in a
Yeah.
different light. And I just said, "Well, can I tell you how I feel about you?" She said, "Okay." So I said, "Well, you were 6 and you got away from somebody who'd got a knife, a man who'd got a knife. You got away and you went to the ice cream man and told him what happened, and they called the police. How amazing are you? How phenomenal are you? If you can do that when you're 6,
What can
imagine
you
what
do
you can
now?
do now you believe in yourself." Okay. And she's like, but no, no, no. And I said, "Look, you've got children of your own. If something like that happened to them, what would you say to them?" I'd say, "Well, they're amazing." And then, yeah, exactly. Do you see what I'm saying to you? And so that's when it started the reframe, and she could really see that it was very traumatic. So her whole system had been on high alert. What if it happens again?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the session, we only ever worked together once. She said she was going to go out and buy her son a birthday card. It was his birthday the following week. So I said, "Okay, great." And she's like, "You don't understand. I haven't been shopping on my own for like 5 years,
5 years.
and
I
I'm
love
going
it.
shopping on my own now." And I was like, "Oh,
Wow.
that's quite big, isn't it?" And she's like, "Yes, Rachel." And then there was a mirror right by the door, and she stopped and just looked in at herself in the mirror, and she says, "I never look at myself in the mirror. I just don't. I just can't." But she said, "Because of that." And I said, "What? I can't see anything." She said, "Oh, that's the scar that I got from the attack." And I said, "Well, I still can't see it." So she said, "Well, anyway, that I never look at myself
Yeah,
because of that scar." But she said, "Actually, that's my warrior wound."
it is.
And I was like, "Yes, what a reframe, right?
I
What a
love it.
reframe." Yes,
And
it's so
yeah, like
beautiful.
that's a superhero, especially someone at 6 that got away from it and had the sense and sensibility to go and find a good adult, so the ice cream man, to report it, to get help and to create assistance.
Mm,
That's powerful, and she needs to own that. Like it reminds
absolutely.
me when I was studying, I studied hypnosis before I did my NLP, but it was through an NLP trainer. And one of the first hypnosis practices that I did, or meditative practice, because a combination of a bit of both, was one of my friends who was suffering from anxiety. And it was just around COVID time. And because of COVID and the problems with that and her health issues, she was afraid to go to the shopping center. She had not left the house during COVID. Everything was done online, and she was just afraid to go down to the plaza. And we just did an anxiety one, just simple anxiety, created the safe haven, created the bubble, set her in the cloudy sky and put this protection around her. And she rang me up 2 days later. "Oh my God, you won't believe it. I went to the plaza." And I'm like, "Oh shit, did that work?" Because I had no idea. This was my first, what I call crash test dummy. I asked one of my friends, I asked for volunteers, who wants to test this with me? I don't know that it works. I haven't tried it on anyone else outside the circle of where I was learning, and did it on my friend, and she was able to do the same thing. And that's when I fell in love with it. That's why I wanted to do it. But the main reason I personally studied hypnosis was the past life aspects, because I'm fascinated with it. I've done past life therapy before via kinesiology and via other healing modalities, but going in the hypnosis and to see it, and I wanted to experience it. And it wasn't until I had my own visualizations through the hypnosis practice of my own past life that I'm like, "I love this stuff." Like it was
Mm,
fantastic. So there's so many things that we can find to uncover. And for me, not everything is a choice that we make in this life. I had to clear money wounds and things like that from past lives. And changing it has changed my reality in many different ways. And it's layered. There are certain aspects and certain emotions and things that can be done in one session, and other times it needs multiple. Sometimes we don't want to move past it, don't want to believe it, but you have to be in a fully accepted and opening mind. If
mm,
your brain is in the way and you have deep fear, you won't actually get hypnotized. You won't be able to go back and do it. and that's okay. I always recommend that you follow a practitioner that knows what they're doing and is aware, simply because even when we got to talk about ab reactions, I didn't know that's what it was called. I just said I had a meltdown and nearly had a nervous breakdown because that's what it felt like, because my body was like in major rejection and fear from it. But the whole reason I went and studied it was because I wanted to overcome that aspect. And for me, knowledge is power. So if I knew how it worked, then it would be easier. And I've now been hypnotized a few times and I can't wait to do it again.
Absolutely. I had a client that I did work with, it was about 5 years ago, I think, and she wanted to sort out why she kept having panic attacks. And we did it online, and because it was, again, it was 2020 actually. So we did it online, and she went back to being six, about, she was about eight, I think. And it was sports day, and she hadn't had any breakfast and she hadn't had any much to drink all day. So she fainted.
Oh, wow.
But her friend came over and said, well, she's lying on the grass. Her friend said, oh, you're having a panic attack. I have them.
Yeah.
And so there's the belief.
Really. Yeah. There's
And
the
then she
planted
carried
seed.
on having panic attacks. It was so surprising because that's not what I expected. And so when she could see that's what it was, but all the while through it, she said she felt herself having that panic all the while. But she said it wasn't a full blown one, it was just this panic, panic, panic. And it was just her body releasing what needed to be released during that session. So it's just telling her, reminding her that she's safe. Again, that she was on Zoom, so I couldn't sort of hold her hand or
Yeah.
just sort of say it's okay. So I'm just reassuring her all the time, just going, you're safe. Just remember, you're in your own house. You can open your eyes anytime you choose to. It's absolutely fine. This isn't what's going on. Your body's just reacting. It's fine. It's just wants to let go of all this. So let's just keep going. She's fine. She used to say, but she had a very powerful or very, very stressful job where she used to have to go on stage and present her company to the audience of £1 million deals and stuff. And so she really was very nervous. And she says, I'm okay as long as I've got a water bottle in my hand and I'm holding on to that. That's my anchor, and I'm okay. I'm having a panic attack while I'm talking, but nobody else knows.
Yeah.
And it's okay. So I was like, right. So then she messaged me about a month later. She says, I've just had that one of those talks. And she said, I got my water bottle and I was ready for my panic attack. And she said, nothing happened. She said, I didn't know what to do with myself because I'm just like bracing and I'm like, it's not there.
And that's the
Yeah.
unfortunate thing, is that a lot of it, and emotional turmoil and problems in the body, a lot of it's like muscle memory. We
Mm.
get so used to it. We create a scenario, a scene, or a conclusion and a decision that is embedded. They're not true, but they're just muscle memory. And once you clear it, you sit there and go, "Oh, this is the expectation that I have," and you go there and you don't have it, and you're like, what the hell?" And there's
What's
this emptiness
happened?
within you, like,
Yeah.
what? But yeah, it's great. I love that. With your own personal journey, did you go
Mhm.
through a dark night of the soul or complete awakening, or was it just something subtle over time?
I think it's been, well, not so subtle initially. It was the second marriage was the big thing. And the reason I got with him in the first place was I had a dream about him anyway, that he was going to commit suicide if I didn't help him. So, and that actually played out. I did manage to, I had sort of an inkling, I got on the phone to him and I managed to get help for him. So that was the big, like, oh, there's something much more than this. There was that time when Emily was going through her arthritis, and I used to just send this sort of prayer, I suppose. If anybody's listening, if there's anything out there that can help my daughter, Fix You by Coldplay was on the radio all the time when we were going to the hospital. And that's when I used to just go, oh, if there's anybody out there that can help me find a solution for this, you're going to have to sort of make it very obvious, because
Obvious.
I don't
Put
know
it
where to
right in
start
front of my
looking.
face. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I don't, and isn't it funny that how hypnotherapy became a thing? It's just like, you've got to train in this for
Yeah.
when. I'm like, why?
Right.
So why? I'm
I
not,
told you to do it. Yeah.
yes, yes, exactly. So I felt that push. So it's those sort of drop in little or not so subtle
Yeah.
steps. And I think going through hypnotherapy has really helped, because you
Mm.
can see when you understand what your subconscious is doing, and there's far more than what you're far more than just your physical body, bunch of cells. It's like, okay, there is more out there. And it's just, so yes, it's so that it wasn't an overnight thing. It's been sort of an unfolding, I suppose.
I love that explanation. It's great. That's how it happens in different avenues. Like mine, I've been connected to spirit since I was 2. So I was aware of it. Most of my childhood, I sort of knew. I tried to hide it from people because it was weird to be back in the 70s and 80s. It wasn't
Mm,
something you really talked about. I was grateful and blessed in the way that my mother had awareness of it. So she never really tried to tell me it was bad, but also told me to be quiet about it because I just happened to know things. So my brother
mm,
didn't like it. He would tell me that I was a know-it-all and why does she always know everything? Sharon knows everything and all of these things. So it was made derogatory. So I shut it down for a long time until I really realized it was a gift, a skill, and something that was very powerful if you attuned to it and you made it work for you. And any of the
mm,
healing modalities are like that. I started healing my body and working through things without knowing what it was. I just knew that what I had was not what I wanted. And it's through focus and diligence that you can change that. And I believe
mm,
everyone can change that. And your soul will give you signs. I look back now, and as I said, I have a few books like yours. One of them sitting over here, it's
mm,
called The Secret Language of the Body. And recently in a class, I was teaching people about my rheumatism story, and I went and read out the and the emotional upheaval about what rheumatism was. And I'm going, huh, yeah, that's where I was exactly at right then. And that's why it was so strong in my body. And it was in the past side. So the left arm was the one that I couldn't work. And that was going on because I was only just becoming aware of all of that problem and where it came from. I just, as I said, I generate, no, not happening here. And I've done that a lot in my life of if I don't like a situation, if I don't like a scenario, I'll say, no, that does not belong here. I choose better. I have the choice. I have the power to create more. I demand better. I have different phrases. Sometimes I'll say I code, compel, and command what I want to the universe, and it shows up in every way. We have the power of choice. The greatest thing for me in life, the greatest human trait that we have is free will. We have choices. And you don't think that you made choices about this, but your unconscious mind, your inner child, and the earlier version of you did. But it did it without all the documentation, without all the data, without all the information around, and formed a belief from it. And beliefs are just simply thoughts you keep thinking. You can change them at core very easily if you want to. And hypnosis is one of the greatest tools for me that can do that. So, the work that you're doing and the decode the root cause method is brilliant. I love it. And I'm so grateful that you're here to share it with us because I believe so many people need to deal with things like anxiety, chronic pain, autoimmune, emotional trauma, body issues. The body has this capacity to heal from practically anything. The only things I
mm,
know it can't heal from my awareness, is you can't regrow teeth. I wish I could, trust me. You can't regrow a limb, but we have orthotics, or we can get like you can have an arm extension. I can't think of the word of what I'm trying to think. I know what I'm talking about, but the word's not there. Those
mm,
sort of things. You can't remove, you can't take out organs and replace them, although you can get transplants and stuff like that. But we can overcome many things, and most of those things do have an emotional relationship to that pain, to that disease. And if you face the root cause, go back and change it, you can create better health for yourself. And the reason,
mm,
in my opinion, why most people don't do it is their lack of worth. They don't feel they deserve it, or they don't feel strong enough or powerful enough, and they live in fear or victim mode. And it's the memory of
mm,
the replaying of the incidences that causes all the trauma.
Absolutely, it's that unconscious replaying it all. Absolutely, it is. And I think it's, well, also hypnosis has been given a scary, what's the word I want? Scary persona about it, hasn't it? It's been because it's so powerful,
Yeah.
because it's so effective, because it's reprogrammed. We're so quick to to buy a new phone, aren't we?
Fine.
Or to
Yeah.
buy a new laptop because the programming on it has gone,
Yeah.
right? The memory's full. But we never do this in our own minds, and yet this is what's running your
Mhm.
life,
Yeah. That's
which is the
the
most important
operating
software you've
system. You got
got.
to upgrade it.
Absolutely. You're running your software from your 3-year old self.
And
And that's why you're not getting what you want, because it still believes you don't deserve it, or it's not in your awareness as a 3-year old. So it's just, and it's curiosity. It's a beautiful journey of getting to know yourself in such a powerful way. It's not scary at all. It's exciting. It's curiosity. It's just, oh, what did I not know? What's going on? And I've had quite a lot of significant trauma in my life, but by putting it in a box, which is what I did, there's a big significant one at 19.
yeah,
And I put it in a box in my head of do not open under any
open.
circumstance. Right? There you go.
Yep.
That's fine. Dealt with it. I've
Pretend that
dealt with it,
push
Shaz.
down,
It's
push down,
fine.
push down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've dealt with it. I've dealt with it. I'll just get married
Yeah.
and have 2 kids, and
Yeah.
then I'll look
I'll be
normal,
fine.
because this trauma in my mind doesn't make me feel normal. So I'm just going to get, that's what I'm going to do. Right? Put a sticky plaster over the top of my life. And that's what I did, which worked for the first 14 years until it didn't, and it was just, but again, from that, I had such a low sense of self-worth. So I people pleased, and I had a belief that if everybody else was happy and not me, that's okay. As long as everybody else is happy, that's fine.
Yep.
It's not fine, but I carried on. It's fine. It's fine. Don't think, just do. Don't think, just do. Just keep going. It's fine, until the wheels fell off, basically. And you wake up, you're in your second marriage, and again, it's a similar pattern. What's going on? Except it was getting louder. And I could
Yeah.
see if I went to another relationship, it was probably going to be
Even
physical this
worse.
time.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put myself through that. I knew I did not deserve that, and I didn't want to witness that to wake up to myself. So I was like, okay, well, I have these tools now.
Yeah.
I think I need some hypnotherapy session. Why am I going for toxic relationships? Why are they not meeting my needs? Why am I overgiving and getting the breadcrumbs back? What's going on? Why am I attracting this?
Mm.
And so having that awareness, because the thing is, we sort of think, oh, it just happens to me. It's just life. But when you take ownership of it and go, okay, this is what's happening in my life and I don't like it. What can I do about it? Oh, I'm the power, which is great, isn't it? Because if you're the power, you can change it. If it's just something
Again.
out there that you've just, like a leaf blowing in the wind, you've got no control. But if you're like, oh, actually, I'm the driver in my own life,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting in the passenger seat right now, well, that's not working out too well. Let
Mm-hmm.
me take control.
Yeah.
Let me have a look. Let's have a look what's going on in my subconscious programming. Why am I attracting this, that, and the other? Why have I got body pain? Whatever. And let's uncover it. It's with curiosity, with love, because it's just your body telling you you're out of alignment with yourself. And the more you love yourself, the better things, the better relationships you get, the more you can sit with yourself on your own and actually enjoy your company and look in the mirror and be able to be really happy with what you see. That's that self-love. And it's just all of the symptoms, whether it's the outside world, whether it's your body, is telling you love yourself more.
Mm-hmm.
That's a simple thing. So
It's so
just
true.
just try it.
And for me, emotions are like a cork, right? It doesn't matter how much you push it under the water. You can push it down, push it down, push it down. It will always bob to the surface. It just depends on how
Yes.
far you push it down and how long it takes. They will
Yes.
always
Well,
come up. So instead of pushing
I
it
say they get
down,
louder.
let it come
Yeah.
up and then take it out of the water.
Ah,
You can take it
yes.
out, uncork the bottle, let it go. And you're going to
Yes.
be
Oh,
so
yes.
much
Let it
freer
go.
from it. Like, Let It Go is one of my favorite songs to sing when you want to do
Mm,
emotional healing. It is great. It is amazing.
mm,
We don't have
yes.
to hold on to patterns that don't serve us anymore. And if you
No.
change it, you focus it, you forgive it, you release it, you can become everything that you want and have the freedom, the love, the happiness, joy that you desire. And quite frankly, you deserve it. Everybody does.
Yes. It's just the old conditioning program from school, from your parents, from way back when, that makes you believe what you've got right now. But this is just the reflection of the old beliefs.
Yep.
When you shift and change your own thoughts and your own beliefs, you start attracting better things. What's not to love about that?
It's the best way to live life too for me. I
Yes,
thank you
absolutely.
so much, Rachel, for joining me. I've loved this conversation. I hope the listeners have loved it too.
Good.
Where
Me
can we
too. I've
find
enjoyed
you?
it.
How can anyone get in contact you? And what is the best place to find your book?
Okay, my book is on Amazon. It's called Decoding the Body's Messages, Unlock Your Wisdom to Heal. I'm on Facebook as Rachel Claire Farnsworth or Wellness with Rachel. My website is wellnesswithrachel.co.uk, or you can email me, rachel@wellnesswithrachel.co.uk as well. So I'm available. I'd love to talk with you, and I've got some free gifts as well that I will share with you so that your listeners can have some of those. I've got releasing negative self-talk patterns, which is really good because that's where trauma starts. Or
Mm-hmm.
because of trauma, we have that negative thought. So
Yeah.
the releasing negative thought pattern is a really good first way of starting your healing process. So
Yeah.
I will gift your listeners that for you so
Beautiful.
that they
Thank you.
can start that for themselves.
Excellent. I love that. And we'll put all the links and everything into the show notes. So please go check them out. Download the negative self talk habits. I call that the itty bitty shitty committee. Go and reprogram it. Upgrade your nervous system. Upgrade your iOS system, whatever you want to call it. Change the
Mm.
programming. You deserve so much better. You are more than you ever give yourself credit for. And all you have to do is really remember who you are.
Mm.
Thank you once again. I appreciate it. And until next time.
You're very welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure.